Let's take a minute to talk about getting the lathe set up so that you can have stability and have more fun at the lathe. Even a little benchtop mini lathe, if we put a sturdy stand and get it set up correctly, will do a lot more. And we're always pushing the envelope with out of balance pieces of wood that have moisture in them that is out of balance, or we intentionally put something off axis to do certain shapes. So first of all, there needs to be a large footprint. The footprint here is about 3 feet on the headstock and about more than 2 feet on the tailstock. If you can see on there, I've just welded a nut on the brace and put a bolt through it. So I have leveling feet. So I want to make a good platform for it to sit on, and then the leveling feet are critical. There's no floor in the world that's perfectly flat. What happens when I put a piece of wood on there that's out of balance? It's going to vibrate, it's going to cause me problems. So I want to have all 4 feet planted firmly on the floor with the exact same pressure. I only need to have access to one of the feet, and I can loosen this up. Now I don't want to do this because this lathe has been sitting in the same position for probably close to 2 decades and it's really stable, so I'm not going to loosen this up. But we just loosen this and we can unscrew that bolt. So this is off of the ground. Now we've got all 3 of the other legs on the ground, and this is the only one that's off the ground. That'll let it teeter, okay? And then I know exactly where I'm at. Put a piece of wood on the lathe and ramp it up until you start to get some vibration, and then I'm going to very slowly put this foot back down on the ground again. Once this foot is back down on the ground, the vibration will go away. It'll get very, very slight if it doesn't go away completely. And then I'll know that all 4 feet have the same pressure on the floor and the lathe is stable, okay? Another thing that I need to do, want to do, is have mass. I need a lot of weight in the lathe. This whole carcass is full of sand. Let's look at some of these other lathes and look what I've done. I've just bolted on a really stiff piece of angle iron here and put a bolt through it. The headstock is even a longer foot on here, and up there I don't have to worry about the trip hazards. If we look at this other lathe over here, see this was a little 4 square tubing on here with the same thing, a bolt through it. But the footprint now is bigger. The small footprint here just was too tippy for these lathes. And all of them have sand. If we look back at these, this is full of sand, right? This is full of sand. They got a shelf underneath here that's got sandbags on it. Find a way. This lathe over here was so rickety, and I really didn't have a good way to fill this with. This is not filled with sand because it was open in the bottom. So I built a box underneath it. If you can see, there's a 2x8 under here with full of sand and sandbags to give me some mass. All right. All right. So let's go back over to my main lathe here and talk about one more thing that we need to do. We need to get the on and off switch away from the headstock. Almost all manufacturers have the on and off switch right here, here, someplace down in here, okay? That's not a great place because every time I turn the lathe on, my face is in the danger zone. Centrifugal force is going to fling anything off of the wood is going to come off and hit me. So if we look down here, you can see where I have intentionally put the on and off switch, just run a cord down with a toggle switch from the hardware store so I can turn the lathe on and off with the toggle switch, and my face now is intentionally out of the danger zone, okay? Let me paint you a picture. We're roughing out a bowl, and I'm working here on the inside of the bowl. I got my bowl gouge running on the inside of the bowl here, and all of a sudden, I didn't notice it, but there was a crack or a fault in that, a bark inclusion, whatever, in that piece of wood. All of a sudden now, a piece of that wood comes flying off, goes flying up, hits the ceiling, breaks a light, lots of chaos could happen, and the balance of the wood that's still on there is now going to vibrate big time. And where's my off switch? If my off switch is over there, and that piece of wood is just ready to self-destruct, how am I going to turn the lathe off? I want to have my off switch over here. So don't put it on a magnet or you screw it right on the lathe. When something goes wrong, boom, you're automatically on that off switch because it's in the same place it was the last time. If you don't have the electrical ability to move that, find somebody that can help you and make sure you get the switch down there.